and welcome to another episode of the Conversation Station. This episode, we're going to be reviewing Day Shift.
Hey, don't you puke in here. I swallowed it. Locked and loaded. Vampires. They're the monsters. And all they are is murderers. Does not eclipse, new moon, breaking dawn, point one. It ain't like that, all right?
Why do you know the names to all the specific Twilight films?
What?
And what's your gripe with Breaking Dawn Part 2? It's the exciting conclusion of the whole Twilight saga.
A 2022 American vampire action comedy film found on Netflix. Released August 12th and directed by J.J. Perry, the film sees Jamie Foxx as Bud Jablonski, a pool cleaner, but that is a front for his real job, which is vampire hunter, and he uses this front to gain access to properties and be kind of inconspicuous and hide, and be able to hunt vampires in broad daylight. Now the movie centers around Bud being in need of some money, so that way his daughter isn't moved away from him to Florida, and so he's trying to come up with just enough money to keep them provide for his family and to keep his estranged wife happy. Now, from the very beginning, we learn that Bud can make money off of vampires' teeth, and there's a so-called street version of selling vampires' teeth and a legitimate version of selling vampires' teeth, with the professional way being joining the union. And Bud was a part of this union at one point, but he just made so many mistakes that they eventually kicked him out because he was just kind of he was a loose cannon and did what he wanted and killed vampires and made sure they were dead with, little to no regard for other people's safety. Now, this union is like a full setup. It has like a bunch of like hours and, it's a full-on job where they, tell you when and where you're going to go hunt and, what hours you're going to be allowed to hunt and everything like that. Now, one thing I love about this movie is just over-the-top action. There's a lot of really, really just gross, decapitating action, and it's really awesome, and it starts at the very beginning of the movie, and it stays pretty consistent throughout. Pretty much all the action scenes are really, really top-notch and over the top, if you want to be honest, but they're really, really good. Now, through some smooth talking and help from a friend, Snoop Dogg's character, Big John Elliott, he's able to get back into the union with, a serious leash, which is Seth, basically a behind-the-desk accountant-style guy who works at the Vampires Union, and he gets saddled with Bud as being his kind of, watcher, the person who watches him and makes sure he doesn't mess up. Seth is played by Dave Franco, and Dave Franco did an absolutely fantastic job. Obviously, we know Dave Franco is great in comedies, but this one shows his action ability. And I think probably my favorite fight before he gets bitten is the contortionist lady.
Oh, no! 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 Oh, the gun's broken! Take the safety off! My gun's not working! Take off the safety! Oh, come on!
The whole film, him and Jamie Foxx have a really great chemistry, and the whole dynamic of I don't want you here but I need you here is really awesome. And how Seth's knowledge of vampires comes from a book while Bud's knowledge of vampires comes from actually being out there and killing them. It's a really cool dynamic and kind of hits you as a buddy cop film without being a buddy cop film. Yeah. One thing I'm going to say like over and over again is just I love that over-the-top action. From the chase down in downtown LA that ends up with a dummy on a motorcycle getting smashed into, and that looks really cool, to the Gatling gun scene that we see later on. Just all the over-the-top craziness is something that I really, really enjoyed. Now, one of the reasons that Bud is estranged from his wife is because she feels like he's lying. Obviously feels like that, late hours, coming home late at night, random phone calls, can't trust you, can't trust what you're doing, because he doesn't want to tell her because he feels like he's protecting her, obviously, and that leads to the rift between them. Also, an amazing scene with Steve Howey and Scott Adkins with the Nazarian brothers. And they're two vampire hunters that have a stereo sound equipment van, and that's their cover, and they go around hunting vampires, and they talk Jamie Foxx into a team up, and it is one of the most insane, cool vampire hunting action scenes that I've seen in a long time. It's just awesome.
Shield time, bro. short mouthwash, baby.
Nice, bro.
There's one specific part where it's a one bullet reload that I think is just, it's insane. It's like so stupid and over the top and way too much, but it's perfect and it fits.
Bro, send one!
But my overall review of this movie is that it's just amazing. I can't believe it didn't go more crazy in Halloween of 2022. I think it just was a really good movie, and I watched it this Halloween, and I think it's just really great. I'll say I wish they would get back into the habit of releasing Halloween vampire monster movies, even if they're not really Halloween, just monster-themed movies around October. I think that would do a lot better rather than having them released in August, but, you know, I think there's obviously bigger reasons behind that. Now, all throughout the movie, there's talks of El Jefe. He's said he was a 700-year-old European vampire, and you know, I think it was like a rumor that he's sitting at the top of the LA drug trade, just waiting to reemerge, and that his fangs were so sharp that just one of them could buy you a mansion in Beverly Hills. But we never see the character, and you know, they mention like, oh, is the person we're going after El Jefe? And Snoop Dogg's character, you know, just says like, no, this ain't the person. Leading us to believe that we have not seen this, you know, big bad. And obviously that leads to possible sequel, because I think these characters, and even in addition to, you know, have more vampire hunters on there, would be absolutely awesome. But I will say, I did enjoy that whole, you know, El Jefe vampire thing that added that allure of mystery of a character that we really didn't see and didn't know if we were going to see and don't know if we're ever going to see. Ultimately, the vampires do come for Bud's family, and Bud and Seth and Heather have to fight to get them back. So as I said, a real good comedy movie and action movie, but it also does have a lot of heart too. And I really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely recommend checking it out. And if you have, I would like to know if any parts you really liked about it. Thanks for taking any time to watch my videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and I hope to see you again.